Every triathlete wants to get faster or be able to improve their endurance on their run. And technique is a huge part that so many people, so many magazine articles touch upon. But I'm going to say this to you. It's not what happens when your foot is in the air. It's what matters when your foot strikes the floor. So in other words, most coaching and most articles will talk about things to do with what happens when your feet are off the floor. Yet, the latest science and the amazing and wonderful coaching that we do with strength and conditioning coaches with runners and triathletes is showing more and more and more. If we can focus on technique on what happens when our foot is on the floor, that is going to be the thing that makes the difference to your overall running technique. But the key thing to get this is to understand how to link it together. So the reason is when your foot hits the floor, your body has to cope with force. The force of your foot striking the floor and you having to prevent yourself from essentially falling flat on your ass. Now to do that, that means our muscles have to generate force into the floor. That essentially is strength. Strength is your ability to generate force, and that is why strength training has a hugely significant positive impact on your running performance. So if your strength can increase, that enables you to be able to produce more force to stabilize your body and put force into the floor when your foot strikes the floor much more effectively to hold a better body position, but also to be able to make better use of the stored energy that's in things like your tendons. But then the other element is this. Think about it. It takes around about 300 milliseconds for the foot to typically be on the floor during a typical run, somebody like yourself. That's about the same amount of time it takes a bullet to travel about 400 meters. That is very little time to apply that newfound strength and force. So the other element to your training to improve technique is to be able to use that force fast and reactively. And this is where things like we call drilling work come into play. They work at tuning that strength that you've developed in the gym into being able to use it fast and reactively when you are out on the road in the positions that you use when you run. Now the challenge here is for most runners and triathletes, they do neither of those, or they'll do one or the other. They'll just do strength training and that will help somewhat, or they'll just do the other side, which is the drilling, and then that will help somewhat. But very rarely will they ever do both together. And if you can do both together, that's what enables you to be able to cope better with what happens when your foot's on the floor, which we know is the biggest thing that will limit you with your running technique going forwards and can ensure that you will improve that in the fastest way possible. Remember, you can't improve your running technique by not improving your strength, because the thing that is limiting you in the first place is your strength. So if that stays the same, fundamentally everything else going forward will do as well.